Tired of feeling overwhelmed, drowning in to-do lists, making countless decisions each day, leaving you feeling mentally drained? You're not alone. Busy professionals and parents face a constant barrage of decisions regarding their work, parenting, household, and personal decisions, leading to significant mental and emotional strain. This constant decision-making can contribute to feelings of overwhelm, stress, and burnout. But what if I told you there's a secret weapon that could help you reclaim your time and simplify your life? That weapon is AI, or artificial intelligence. I know. Just hear me out. In today's episode, we will explore how to use AI tools to simplify everyday life and make you look like a creative genius. We'll be looking at the mundane decisions we have to make as busy adults, like making dinner and packing for a trip, and harness the tools we have to turn decision fatigue into creative ingenuity. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Life's Next Lesson Plan. I'm Rachel, and I started this podcast during my 29th and last year as a high school teacher. The goal of my work with Life's Next Lesson Plan, as well as my Live and Learn Patreon, is to create a connection where we are all teachers. We all have lessons and stories to share that can help others. I'm so fortunate to be able to extend the four walls of my previous classroom to an unlimited audience, where we can all learn from each other. And my guests are some of the most inspirational people with the best stories and lessons I know, which is why I want to share them with you. Their words are something everyone should hear. It is my hope that you are able to take away something from each episode to apply to your own life, whether that be a career search, path to a more fulfilling life, or new ideas on current topics. Before we start today's episode, I should probably explain from an English teacher standpoint that AI is a huge change that has entered the lives of teachers, basically turning them into constant AI cheating police. While I could easily do an entire episode on how AI has changed the educational landscape, today is not that type of episode. To be honest, I'm not sure I really ever want to talk about that topic again. So, we're going to focus on the positive side. There are so many amazing hacks to save us time and make us look extra creative, and that's where I want us to spend our time. So just a little bit of background if you're not familiar with AI, how they work. Primarily today, I'm going to be focusing on ChatGPT and Google Gemini. Those are the tools I've experimented with the most in the type of examples I'm going to give you. So how AI works, basically, it uses a type of artificial intelligence called a large language model, LLM, specifically a transformer-based model. It was trained on vast amounts of text data and designed to understand and generate human-like text based on prompts it receives. So, for example, ChatGPT was trained on a massive data set of text from books, articles, websites, and more. It doesn't think or have real-world awareness, but predicts the most likely next words based on the patterns it's been taught. It was fine-tuned to follow instructions, provide helpful answers, and avoid harmful or biased responses. When you type a question or a prompt, the model analyzes your input and predicts the best response based on what it has learned. It doesn't retrieve answers from a database like a search engine. Instead, it generates responses in real time using its learned knowledge. It uses context from the conversation to provide relevant and coherent answers. Now, some of the limitations or things to consider is that these models don't have real-time access to the internet unless they're explicitly connected to a web tool. It can't remember past conversations beyond the current chat session. It doesn't have opinions or personal experiences, so everything it generates is based on training data. Besides these limitations, though, it can sometimes feel human-like. So it has been optimized to produce conversational, engaging, and natural-sounding text. It does mimic different writing styles, can adapt to the tone that you ask it to, and it understands context better than earlier AI models. In fact, this is the most rudimentary AI we will ever have, meaning it's just going to continue to get more sophisticated. We know this can be good and bad, but today we're going to focus on harnessing its powers for good. So today I'm going to take 3 main areas of being an adult that have added to my own personal decision fatigue in the past. I could probably have unlimited episodes on this, but I tried to take the major decisions we all might dread on a weekly basis. I can always expand or add new areas if you find this sort of episode helpful. So for the first sort of demographic that I'm going to focus on who might benefit from this technology would be parents or maybe nannies or full-time babysitters who have to find engaging and educational activities for children on a daily, weekly basis. So I'm going to personally go back to when I remember feeling stressed when my daughter was younger. And if I was looking for inspiration for something, I would normally spend hours on Pinterest trying to curate the perfect birthday party or educational trip to the zoo. Why do we do this to ourselves? If I knew then what I know now, although I didn't have this tool, but if I did, which I do now, here's what I would do. So when I was planning my daughter's 7-year-old birthday party, at the time she loved rainbows. She wanted a rainbow everything birthday party. So I could go in to ChatGPT or Google Gemini today and I would type in, I'm planning a birthday party for a 7-year-old who loves rainbows. Can you suggest some creative decorating ideas, an arts and crafts activity, and maybe 2 outdoor-related activities for a group of 6 children? Obviously, you can tailor this to whatever your situation might be. And within 30 seconds or less, I have a plethora of decorating ideas, including a rainbow balloon arch, rainbow table setting with different layers of construction paper, rainbow-themed plates and cups and napkins, maybe rainbow confetti, rainbow streamers, a rainbow photo booth with props like rainbow sunglasses, hats, or boas, rainbow signs, and even having the children at the party decorate them, and rainbow centerpieces with vases and layers of colored candies or water beads, flowers, or feathers. So you could even ask it for more ideas if that is not enough for you. For an arts and craft activity, it spit out doing a rainbow tie-dye. It says it always is a hit with kids. You can provide plain white t-shirts or fabric tote bags and fabric dyes in rainbow colors. Let the kids create their own unique rainbow designs. Be sure to have gloves and aprons on hand to protect clothing. You could always use pillowcases or bandanas. If you don't like that idea, you just say, offer me 1 or 2 more arts and crafts activities. Then for the 2 outdoor activities, love the first one. It suggested a rainbow scavenger hunt. So you could either hide objects in rainbow colors around the yard, like a red ball, an orange leaf, a yellow flower. They could look for natural things like green grass, blue balloon, purple crayon. Give each child a list of items to find, and the first one to find all the items wins a prize. Don't like that idea? You can ask it for more. But it also suggested a rainbow relay race where you divide the children into 2 teams. You set up a relay course with different stations. At each station, you have a task related to a specific rainbow color. So at the red station, they have to run to a cone and back. At the orange station, they have to toss an orange beanbag into a bucket. Yellow, hopscotch on yellow squares. Green, blow up a green balloon. Blue, throw a blue water balloon at a target. And purple, do 5 jumping jacks while holding a purple ribbon. First team to complete the course wins. It even gave me some extra tips, which, yay, one of these I had done. I did pick up a rainbow cake where you slice into it and it has the colors of the rainbow. Big hit. Doing rainbow goodie bags with rainbow-themed treats, pencils, erasers, stickers, candies, small toys. And then it suggested to play upbeat, kid-friendly music for a festive atmosphere. So, voila. I typed in, it took me 5 seconds to type in my prompt. And within 30 seconds, I had a list of great ideas that I could then refine. Now, you might like Pinterest and you might like to still, think of things on your own, and that's great. But if you are short on time and low on creativity, your brain is fried after a long week, just try it for fun. I gave it one more prompt as well for taking your 2-year-old and your 5-year-old to the zoo. So I typed in, please suggest 2 interactive activities for a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old during a zoo visit, as well as a follow-up activity to do at home, right? Because you want to process the field trip. So again, 30 seconds or less, it said at the zoo, you could do an animal sounds scavenger hunt. So before the visit, create a simple list of 3 to 4 animals that make distinct sounds. For the 2-year-old, you can use pictures of the animals. At the zoo, encourage both children to listen for the sounds, and when they hear one, have the 5-year-old read the animal's name off the list. The 2-year-old can point to the picture, and everyone can try to imitate the sound. This combines listening skills, early reading practice for the 5-year-old, and fun animal imitations for the whole family. They also suggested choosing a specific habitat at the zoo, like the African savanna, the rainforest. Ask the 5-year-old to explain what a habitat is and what kinds of things animals need in their habitat, like food and water and shelter. This could be a good conversation about what different animals eat. Then give each child a role. So the 2-year-old can be the food finder, pointing out what the animals might be eating. The 5-year-old can be the shelter specialist, describing where the animals might live. As you explore the habitat, encourage them to point out examples of food and shelter. This promotes learning about animal needs and encourages observation skills. Again, if you don't like those or you want different ideas or more, just ask it for more. It did give me a follow-up activity at home to build a zoo diorama using a shoebox or cardboard box, some construction paper, some twigs, leaves, rocks, which you could gather outside, some animal figurines, glue, markers, and crayons. So you have the children work together to create a diorama of their favorite zoo habitat. The 5-year-old can help by drawing or writing labels for the different parts of the habitat and the animals. The 2-year-old can help by placing the animal figurines and other materials in the diorama. This activity encourages creativity, reinforces what they learned at the zoo, and promotes collaborative play. It also gave me additional tips to plan ahead, check the zoo's website for feeding times or special events. Keep it short. A zoo visit can be very tiring for little ones, so especially if it's hot, think of everybody who's going on the trip. Bring snacks and water, and take videos or photos of your children interacting with the animals, which can be fun to look back on later. So that's, the little human side of AI. Those are 2 prompts, and those are all of the ideas that I got. It's never ending. So I want you to think of everyday situations, maybe parenting situations in this case, where you wish you had solutions for how to keep a 3-year-old busy while you're cooking, or ways to teach your 10-year-old about being a responsible pet owner if they've been begging for a pet. Endless ideas. So by utilizing AI, parents, nannies, babysitters can more easily find engaging and educational activities that spark children's curiosity, foster their development, and make learning fun. For our next example, we're going to move into probably something that causes 90% of the population, stress and decision fatigue. It's all those memes you've seen on the internet about the worst part of adulting being, why do I have to think about what to make for dinner every day? And can I pay someone else to pack my children's lunches, right? Or better yet, teach them. So we can use AI for this in a variety of ways. Again, I'm not going to go over every way that you can use it because I'd be here forever, but I'm going to tell you how I've used it or how I could see it being helpful. So first, just recipe generation and customization. If you don't like what it spits out the first time, you can ask it to keep going. So if you have certain dietary restrictions or you're following perhaps certain macros, you can type in exactly what you need, or you can tell it what ingredients you have in the fridge and it can suggest recipes that you can put together based on what you have. So I used this with my current macros that I'm following, how much protein, fats, and carbs I'm using in my diet right now with some of my favorite proteins. And there are certain veggies that my stomach doesn't do well with. So I asked it not to include those. And I asked it to plan a week of dinners for me. Or I can ask it to plan one day of meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with a snack following those macros. And I can repeat that as many days as I want and then ask it to change up a couple things, and then I can just repeat that. Again, you can do this for creative school lunches, using certain fruits that your kids like, easy proteins that you can pack in lunches. Possibilities are endless. Related to meal prep, you can also use it for helping you with your fitness goals. So if you tell it that you want a 30-minute full-body, low-impact resistance workout, and you have a set of free weights from 5 to 20 pounds, and you have some resistance bands, it can design a workout for you. You can tell it to design a leg day, an arm day. You can tell them you have a jump rope and a treadmill and suggest an interval workout for you. So again, you can completely customize how you want this to look. You can ask for one workout. You can ask for a week of workouts or 4 days of workouts so that you're not overutilizing one muscle group. This can be a nice way to just mix things up. You have 20 minutes. Here's the equipment you have. Ask it to give you suggestions, and there you go. Again, 30 seconds or less. So we're going to take a little break there because that's a lot, and then I will come back with one more real-world scenario of how we could use this, and then we'll have a little bit of action steps and planning time. To those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I value mental and physical wellness. Personally, I've worked with a few different coaches over the years and even been one myself. If you are looking for education and support in your own wellness journey, I would love to invite you to the wellness community I am currently in that keeps me accountable daily with my nutrition and movement. If you are a Facebook user, you can search for our free group called Team MG. This group is led by my coach, Megan Grimord, who is a certified trainer and nutrition coach. She offers lots of education and support for your wellness journey. If you want to get to know Coach Megan more, you can follow her on Instagram at all lowercase Megan, MEGAN _Grimord, GRIMORD, or even listen to her on episode 10 of the podcast. She has also created a discount code for my listeners. Just go to her website, www.team-mg.com, and enter code LessonPlan10 to get $10 off any of her premium coaching packages for the first month. Coach Megan is a busy mom like me who works full-time, so I appreciate her practicality mixed with some tough love to keep me going. During our break, I usually take time to answer one or two of the Ask the Teacher Anything questions. The first one I have today is, how do you incorporate lessons learned from the classroom into your life outside of teaching? Great question. I definitely feel fortunate after 29 years to have both the soft skills and the hard actual journalistic skills that I have. So to launch this podcast venture, I definitely have to adhere to deadlines, be consistent, remember all of the things I learned with writing and speaking, and creating content, what people would want to listen to. I'm having to pick up a lot more skills that I didn't learn in teaching, but it's definitely those people skills when I'm interviewing, all of the same techniques that I taught in journalism class about what makes a good interview, storytelling techniques, but then really just like being consistent, staying self-motivated, being on a schedule. I'm, not reporting to anyone else but myself. So all of those things that I've had to teach my students when it comes to putting together a large project for publishing, all of those things are applying to this new venture as well. Second question I got is, what's the best feedback you've received from a listener about your podcast? People have been so nice. I'll say a funny one. Somebody said that it reminded them of a sermon. I'm going to say that was meant as a compliment. I think so. I think people are surprised that, again, ordinary people, not people that you see in pop culture on the news, of course, have such fascinating lives and such fascinating stories, and nobody gets to hear about them. And I think a lot of what I've heard is that people just love hearing other people's journeys and their stories. And even if it's not something that they can directly apply to their life, it's just really interesting to hear other people's stories, what other people have wrestled with, how other people have approached different parts of their career or their school life. And so I've gotten a lot of great feedback on the storytelling aspects of the guest episodes. So I really have appreciated that feedback. Keep it coming. You can go to my website at lifesnextlessonplan.com and ask questions there. There is an Ask the Teacher Anything section there. There is also a place for you to suggest guests for the podcast as well. So be sure to visit us at lifesnextlessonplan.com. We're back from break and ready to get into the third and final example I brought for you today of how to revolutionize your adulting using AI. So if you're lucky enough to plan vacations, even if it's just a short weekend getaway, I usually am not the one doing the planning, and I also don't enjoy packing. So if I have to plan and if I have to pack, I thought, why not get some assistance from AI? So I played around a little bit with some of the ways I could use ChatGPT to help me plan a vacation. So you could type in a prompt like, What are some of the off the beaten path destinations for a solo traveler in, and then fill in the blank, wherever you're going? Or what are the best beaches in the Caribbean for families with young children? You can also type in some of your interests, your budget, a place, an area that you'd like to go, the Midwest, the West Coast, and it can give you endless examples of things that you could do on a budget, in a certain location. Maybe you want to be by water. Maybe you want to try out some wineries. Again, you tell it, and you can continue to refine your search. You can also build a customized itinerary by suggesting certain, having it suggest hidden gems or restaurants. Again, the more information you give it about your travel style, so if you don't like crowds, you want certain weather, there are, you want to visit antique shops when you are going on a vacation, it can suggest things around that. You can also ask for information about cultural experiences, nightlife, food tours, hiking. Again, you can personalize it to how you like to travel. And endless opportunities there. In the past, Pinterest, travel guides, travel brochures, the internet, it could take you a lot of time. And some people like that. That's their relaxation. That's what they look forward to doing, and that's great. I'm just not one of those people. I'm also not one of those people who likes to pack. It is usually something that gives me a little bit of anxiety before I leave. I've gotten better with kind of keeping a list or keeping a travel toiletry bag now that is completely packed, and I can just throw it in the suitcase when I need to go. But you can use AI for this as well. So if you know what the weather is going to be, you can have it sort of give you a what to wear generator, input your trip details like the dates. You can tell it the weather or have it search for what the average weather is typically like. Tell them what you have room for. You're using a carry-on, what the size of your suitcase is. Or you can have it create a capsule wardrobe for you. So I'm bringing 2 pairs of jeans, 3 tops, a swimsuit, a light jacket, 2 pairs of shoes, describe the shoes. And it can create a capsule wardrobe for you. So maximizing different outfit combinations with minimal luggage. You can ask it, what are the things I don't want to forget when I'm going on a 3-day weekend adventure? And you can check that based on your own list that you have. You can also have it give you checklists for chargers, medications, travel documents, adapters. It can give you suggestions. It can also generate lists for you. So use it however it would help you the most. All right, for our homework or our action steps today, I'd like you to choose one facet of your life that you could use some creative assistance, or you feel like you just spend too much time making decisions. Maybe it's one of the things that I suggested today and you just want to play around with activities. I was actually using it for, I wanted my students to do some poetry mimicking. And I was kind of at a loss for just how I could set it up. So I had asked for ideas for lesson planning as well. If you don't like what it spits out the first time, it's usually just a very basic response. You can keep refining it. So these are just a few examples of ways that we can harness these new tools rather than resisting them, demonizing them. They can help us, okay? It's not going away, just like I think the internet is here to stay. So hopefully this gives you some practical, actionable steps to leverage AI to reclaim some of your time, simplify your life. I'd love to hear some of the ways you're incorporating this to make your life easier. I hope today's episode on AI got you thinking a bit about this developing tool and how it can look in your own life. Please keep the Ask the Teacher Anything questions coming by visiting our website at lifesnextlessonplan.com, where you can suggest topics and guests for the show and browse free resources from past episodes. Until next time, keep sharing these important lessons and stories. And be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for behind-the-scenes content and information on the February self-love features I'm doing each week in February on my Live and Learn Patreon. Each Friday, I'm delving into a new topic related to self-love, and we're ending February with a book chat on the book Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima that Anna Strelo suggested in episode 8. I'd love to see your faces in person or on Zoom to discuss how we can all learn to love ourselves a bit more. We'll see you next time.